bitches. I don't know, but it tweeted for sure.
Yep. It's been live for 5 seconds now.
Check this out.
Welcome to BLPA Big Show. Hockey sports, life for the adult athletes.
Yeah.
Powered by the Beer League Players Association.
You better follow me.
Follow us at BLPA Big Show on every social media outlet. Follow the crew on Twitter at Nicker Jones and Trish at Trish Dangle.
Let's get it. Here we go.
Welcome to the greatest hockey show in the world. Good week, everybody. I hope everyone is having a good week. It's Tuesday, so we got past Monday. I wasn't here last week with the ladies. Now I'm back. Ladies, how are you doing? Did you miss me? All that good stuff?
Doing so good. Definitely didn't say anything disparaging about you while you were gone.
I listened, and I know that's a lie. 100% a lie.
We said some nice things.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we said some really nice things about you.
they didn't overweigh the negative, all right? So if you guys want to hear what
I
the
think-
ladies are afraid to say to my face, go listen to the show from last week.
I think we need to know, though, out of me and Trish and Moffat,
Mhm.
a fight line to cut.
Oh, well, I'm definitely fighting Moff after she said she could put me in my place. So I'd put her in her place. And I don't know. Like, I don't want to cut either one of you guys. I don't know. Like, I'm more intimidated by Kara, so I probably would liney with Kara, and then I'd cut Trish. Sorry. No offense,
Okay.
Trish. All right.
That's fair.
Is that good?
No,
Okay.
that's fair.
All right, before we get started here,
Mhm.
I have to talk about something. I talked about it last week. I plugged it in. I wasn't here to talk about our new partnership with Hockey Wolf. Ow! Hockey Wolf, you can use that in any commercial you want to. My howl, that's cool. But no, Hockey Wolf, great people. They approached me about wanting to work together, and they kind of were asking like what we're about, what our initiatives are. They've heard the podcast, they've seen our group, and they wanted to get involved. And I always talk about we want to support people that support us, and these guys do like team gear, they do hockey gear, and they're just there. Like they're players, they're beer leaguers, and they started their own shop, and they've grown. They have a pro shop in Montana where we'll have BLPA gear. They have a pro shop in Seattle where we will also have BLPA gear, and they're going to help get us into other pro shops across the nation. And so we've partnered up with them. They offer exclusive BLPA branded merchandise through a link, and I'll put the link in the description when I can. But go check out hockeywolf.com. Tell them the BLPA sent you. So we're glad to have them on board. Also, not only sponsors of this podcast, but sponsors of our BLPA magazine. Hopefully the next issue will be out in a couple of weeks, just working on getting some articles together. But other than that, Trish, why don't you tell them about the old social medias?
We're on the social medias. We are everywhere. We're on Twitter at the BLPA Big Show. If you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at Trish Dangle, Nick at Nicker Jones, Kara at Kara DeBella. Everybody's the same on Instagram except for Nick. He's the Nicker Jones because he just can't
Scumbag.
muscle Nicker Jones into giving him
Fuck
his
that guy.
username. So if you want
Fuck
to
that guy.
go send that person messages, please feel free. Be nice, though. We're all about kindness here, positivity in 2021. And then rate, review, subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. That's going to help us a ton. It helps other people find us. It helps to boost our egos. We need that once in a while. So go tell us how funny we are, how handsome we are. You know, the usual. 5 stars only over there when you're rating.
Hey, I don't
think
know.
Last week we said, like, as long as it's 5 stars, we don't care what your comment is. Give us your best chirp in the comment, but just give us 5 stars. That's all we want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think I don't know if the show was better last week without me, but definitely way less handsome on the show scale. Sorry. That's just kind of how it goes.
What
So
do you guys think listening? I mean, I guess, okay, so it's a little, like, unfair because we didn't have the technology, the capabilities to like go live on all the platforms. So
Yeah.
I feel like the listeners
We
didn't get
actually
the full
all looked
experience.
really good last week.
Mm.
Like we were top notch handsome
Mhm.
last week, all three of us.
Yeah,
so.
like we all like got our hair and makeup done professionally, but you
Yeah.
know.
Okay,
work
well, hey,
out.
well, I feel good that
Unlike
you
today.
guys couldn't do it because of me, so it means that I'm needed on the show. It's not just going to be a hey, here we go, we're going to do it without Nick. Even though I think you guys did say you were starting your own show, which is cool, I guess. But it has to be a BLPA show. But here's the deal about this episode.
Oh yeah, of course it's going to be a BLPA show.
Has
That
to.
was the whole point.
Has to be. So here's the deal. I guess I have to give a disclaimer because I feel like people don't understand that in this world there are different opinions. All right, a lot of people think that
The only person that doesn't understand that is you.
that's untrue. That's untrue. I know that there are many other opinions. I respect other people's opinions and their right to have them. I'm not going to disparage them for having a different opinion than me. I'm just going to understand in my mind and in my heart that their opinion is wrong. They're welcome to have it, but you know what? There's also people on the flip side that think my opinions are wrong, and the only thing that I want them to do is not just follow my word like it's the word of God, nothing like that. I want them just to be like, okay, Nick has a different opinion. That's cool. He's not a dick bag. He's not a butt baby because his opinion's different, right? We can have different opinions and still be friends. So I want to start off this show right now and say this show is going to have opinions. They might not be opinions you agree with, and that's fine. The good thing about being an adult human being is, in theory, you can have different opinions and still be friends, all right? This isn't politics where if you're a Democrat and you think and your friend's got a Republican opinion that they're just a piece of shit or vice versa. This is a safe space, all right? You're free to air your opinions.
Sounds like we're gonna fight tonight.
it's you have.
I'm getting onto the comments on the Facebook so that I can chirp you.
Yeah, well, go ahead and chirp away. So
Please, let's talk about the one that says he's a power bottom.
just
well,
It's just about to comment on that.
So I think I just wanted to say that there's going to be opinions in this show. Deal with it. Basically, is what I'm saying. All right.
Okay, I just have to say though, I feel like that exact 5-minute rant that you just had has been said so many other times. Like we could literally take an old podcast and probably a couple of them and this one and like overlay them and you'd be saying the exact same fucking thing.
Here's the deal, Kara. One, and I'm not, when I say people, I'm including everyone, including myself. People are stupid, right? And it takes them a long time to get the fucking drift, right? Like, I think it's like someone has to see or hear something 7 times for them to remember it. So until I'll say it 700 times, if that's what it takes for people to understand that, hey, I like you even if your opinion's different than mine. I don't think you're right, but I still like you. It's okay. All right. And I just want the same respect from people. Cool?
Okay.
all right.
So I think Nick's about to
with
have an
that being
opinion.
said-
I have.
Well,
tons
before
of
we
opinions.
dive into opinions,
Yep.
Nick, do we have any updates? BLPA updates.
Hell yeah, we got BLP updates. We got updates out
love
the
to know.
ass. Well, one of them, hey, we basically sold out this Columbus BLPA bash for the 4th time, waiting for one female team. All right, they said put a women's division in, the women will come. I've heard that a lot of times in my life. It never happens, but this time it did. We have 5 of them. We're waiting on the 6th. We got a couple of contenders that say they might jump into that spot. So I'm super stoked. But 32 freaking teams on our very first team tournament. That is super rad. Ann Arbor, like I'm literally leaving Calgary on this journey, on this quest, this hockey tournament quest in like 2 weeks. Driving from Calgary to Ann Arbor to Omaha, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska to Columbus, and then I'm coming back to Calgary for a couple weeks before I go back on the trip to, then we have Colorado Springs, we have Las Vegas, we have Laurel, Maryland, we have Cleveland and Cincinnati, or Cleveland and Boston before the month of May is over. So we got a lot of shit going on, a ton,
Excited.
and a lot of new
That's
merch.
gonna be nice for you.
Good for us. And by us, I mean you.
Yeah, well, no, it's nice. I mean, my family stays home. That's the only bad part. I got to leave the old fam here, just because, we have other obligations here, and maybe traveling with a 4-year-old kid that much might not be fun. So we're just going to we're going to play it by ear. But I'm not going to be gone for like 3 and 4 months at a time like I was last year, I don't think. And then hopefully everyone gets vaccinated, the numbers keep dropping off everywhere, and they'll let us fly back and forth to Canada, to the U.S. That would be the dream. So that's the BLPA. But we got a lot of shit going on, and we got a lot of new merch coming out. I don't know if you've seen all this stuff, but people seem to be liking these new logos and stuff that we've been putting out. So I'm super stoked about that as well. Super stoked.
Those new logos are looking good.
I think so. So anything else before we talk about this ref thing that you guys touched on last week, but because I wasn't here, I didn't get to throw in my 2 cents. And God damn it, I started a podcast so I could give my 2 cents, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it away.
Okay.
Bring the heat.
First off, disclaimer, legal liability, whatever. I'm not a referee. Never been a referee. Don't want to be a referee. One, because I'm not skilled enough to be a referee. I don't know all the rules. As much as I argue and pretend like I do, there's a lot of rules that I don't understand. Refs are good people in general. They're all good people. They're out there in the beer league, just giving us an opportunity to play. I mean, if you play without refs, it's like playing pickup basketball at the park where you have to call your own fouls. And I know people like Big Dad, every time he fucks up is going to say someone tripped him or someone did something to him because he doesn't want to take personal responsibility for anything. And so we need referees to do that kind of stuff, right? And so when that guy came on the BLPA the other day and said, I can't even remember exactly what he said, something to the effect of, if you're going to ref, know the rules, or you're going to be a bigger idiot than what you already are. I disagreed wholeheartedly with that. I thought, well, that's a pretty shitbag thing to do. I've done a lot of shitbag things in my life, and I know what shitbagging is. That was a shitbag thing to do. And the only one thing in terms of refs on that part is I had a couple refs message me and tell me to take that down because it made refs look bad. And I was like, no, I'm not going to. Don't be thin-skinned. It's not time to be thin. Let it play out. And I bet if you let it play out and you don't fucking, flip out about it, you're going to find there's a lot more people that respect refs than what you think in our group. And I think that's what happened, right? Don't you think that all the responses were pretty good in terms of supporting refs?
Yeah, like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, when you're like, just let that person look like an idiot, like in whatever situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's exactly what happened. Everybody was just like, no. Bye.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And I know
the
John
refs came out in droves.
Yeah, I know John, the guy that posted it. I didn't know he held that kind of opinion about officials. John seems to be a good guy where he wears eagle gloves. So, I mean, he's got to be good on some level. He doesn't have snakeskin eagles though. But that was kind of a shitty thing to say. And then I heard you guys talking about him, and I know Moff's a ref, and I know her brother was a pretty high level ref. Super, super, super respect referees because I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. But here's one thing I wanted to argue that I didn't think should be brought up. I think I heard something either in those comments or on that podcast is players, hey, you're not good. You're not good, so you don't deserve good reffing, or something to the effect of you got to take accountability for whatever your play, your skill, whatever. And so on the rebuttal is, I think as referees,
that's what you heard us say on the podcast.
It was either in the chat or, well, I did hear Moff say, you don't play at a high level, so you don't get high level referees or something to that effect. But
well, I
agree. No, I agree. We're not professional athletes, so we're not going to have pro level referees. And I agree that you got to take some personal accountability for your skill and your not being able to understand. But on the flip side, I think officials have to have some personal accountability for the fact that they also make mistakes in that platform, right? They're not always going to be perfect. And to get pissed off at players or talk shit about players because a player questions their call sucks. Players shouldn't question. I've questioned refs, so I'm being a bit hypocritical here. But it's kind of like in the pro game. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If players have to go on and be interviewed and take accountability for how they performed, whether good or bad, I also think referees, especially at the pro level, should have to be interviewed about the calls that they made on the ice, whether they're good or bad. Thoughts?
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, especially if there's a huge controversial call, I think that would be fair. But at the same time, the answer to that is like, I feel like always going to be, I'm a human, I made a mistake. You know, if they're
Yeah.
they're gonna stand by the choice that they made. I feel like it's one of the two, and it's not gonna be like a very exciting conversation, if that makes
It's
sense. Like I've had
often
refs
that
in
like
beer
when
leagues that
you
go
call out
like,
a ref for a bad call,
mhm,
first of all, they already called it, so they can't be like, "Oh yeah, you're right, it's a mistake." Well, I guess they can, and then face off at center, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
once in a while that happens. So rarely, like I can probably count on one hand how many times that's happened to me playing
Yep.
hockey my entire life. But it's about how you do it too, because like if you're going into the ref being like, "Hey, you fucking shitbag, you fucking butt baby," the fuck was that call?
Yeah.
mhm.
And they're obviously going to be an asshole back to you, and that's
sure.
when people are like, "That ref's such an asshole." It's like, well, how did you word it?
Yeah, you
If
wouldn't
you're
call him a butt
if you're
baby,
like,
of course.
"Excuse me, Mr. Referee, I would like to understand why you called this."
Mhm.
They're likely gonna they're probably not gonna be the nicest still, but they're probably gonna just be like, "Oh, because this, and that." Like, they're not gonna like be a huge asshole back to you.
Yeah, and
Yeah, there are, I feel like more often than not occasions where like, even if you, or in my experience at least, where even if you approach the ref in a nice way, if you're questioning them at all, they're just like, fuck off, go to your bench. And it's like, no,
Because they're
I'm
just so
genuinely
defensive
like,
automatically.
yeah, which sucks because like
Mhm.
for them, I get it. I get why you have that defense up for sure because you deal with a lot of bullshit. But like, if I have a genuine question, I want to have like an actual talk. I don't want to sit here and like have you berate me for trying to figure out why you called what you called.
Yeah, I said, and the go-to, like literally, I would be if I question a call or say something, 99% of the time, the way to pacify me is say, "Hey, I didn't see it." Okay, cool, I get it. And so I think if we went through and refs were like interviewed at the NHL level, that's all we do. It would be like cliched hockey interview answers that you hear, like, "Oh, get pucks in deep, 110%." It would just be like, "Hey, hey, ref, what'd you see on this call?" Well, I just didn't see it, right? But think about it. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great content for the league? Like, you remember when the Sharks and the Knights were in the playoffs and they gave them that 5-minute penalty that let the game basically turn, and it wasn't. I don't think it was a penalty, but it's so long ago. But I was like, that happens how many times in a game, and that really did affect the outcome of that game. So for me, it's just I thought it was a shitbag move to call out the refs in that fashion because, I mean, beer league refs are also coming out at 11 p.m. I would like refs to care more. I'd like them to not just mail it in for that $45 or whatever they make an hour. And there are a lot of refs that do not do that. An overwhelming majority of refs come out there because, one, they love the game, and a lot of them are really social. They have a good time. But there are, just like in everything in life, there are a couple shitbags that are just like, why do you even come?
Think about
like,
it. You
why?
have to have a really strong personality to be able to like make a call, stick to it, and be able to like fend off all the fucking beer league assholes that are like, "Hey man, what the fuck?"
100%.
About single thing you do.
100. You have to, you have to be able, like, I used to umpire baseball, and it's the same way because
Right.
it doesn't matter. Like, it's a strike or a ball, and like, especially when you're doing like 10-year-olds, it's not even the players because the players are just being 10-year-old kids, but the parents.
Totally.
Holy fuck! Like, I can remember like a lady yelling at me because the kid tagged a runner with his glove, but the ball was in his other hand. So I called him safe, and she's like, he effing tagged him. He fucking tagged. And I'm like, okay, cool. He hit him with his glove. Like, what do you want? That's not an out. And she's like, it sure as hell is. And I'm like, no, this is why it's not. And so I get that mentality, but and a lot of people are going off in our live chat here.
I'm seeing that right now.
They're just talking about pro refs shouldn't make that. Pro refs don't make what pro players make. Pro refs make $100,000, right? Which, compared to what the athletes are making, is not much, but $100,000 a year is a lot of money to a lot of people. And so, if I go to my job that doesn't pay me $100,000 a year, if I go to my job and I mess up, like, I have to be held accountable to that. And so, like, as a NHL referee, if you fuck something up, you should be interviewed and have to explain why you went through that, right? And I get why they don't want to do it, because then who would want to ref, right? I mean, that's a reason a lot of people don't ref now, because they don't want to deal with all the bullshit. Not even beer league, but like parents, coaches, all that stuff. So Yeah, so that's just my opinion on refs. I think that's a good opinion. I love refs. I think it's hard. I just think that if you're going to be a dickbag to a ref, and the ref's going to be a dickbag back to you, but if a ref is just being a dickbag, well, that fucking sucks. Any other thoughts? Agree? Disagree?
No, I don't disagree with anything that you said.
And it would be great to have referees interviewed, right? Like that would be some quality ass content for sure.
I could probably, I don't know. I'd tune in a little bit, but I would tune out after like the first 5 because then it's just going to be just like the intermission interviews. It's going to be the same shit over and over again. But the first few would be really funny.
Yeah, it is going to be the same shit, which sucks.
That's
that's exactly who I have in my mind when I'm like, who would be the best referee to do that? Like if he came out and he was honest about it, and shit, guys, I missed it. I went back on the replay and I was wrong. Like I missed it. I'd have a shit ton of more respect, which I already respect him, but I would have it would be like, yeah, okay, I got it. And just last night, like I was watching the Flames and the Canucks game, and I just started going on like HF boards, which is other teams' forums, and seeing what people write about opposing players. And it's always funny because the same stuff we write about like the opposing player, like that team's writing about our player. And it's always like every fan base is always the refs fucked them. It doesn't matter. Like it's like the refs fucked them. The fucking ref, what the fuck? And it's like, okay, I get it. So even if the refs went on, like someone's always going to be, one side's going to be mad and the other side's going to be happy because it went their way. So at the end of the day, hey, respect the refs. And someone just said the BLPA needs HR ref accountability department. Hey, you know what, bud? We don't have a league yet, but if we ever get a full-fledged league, we will have ref updates in here. I'll have like a head ref that comes on this podcast and gives us updates about the ref. Make sure all of our refs are up to your standard, bud. I can't tell who it is because it says Facebook user, but as long as the ref skates better than you really don't have any complaints, bud. And
Thomas Davis is saying that. I can see it on mine.
Oh, I've never seen Thomas Davis skate, but let's just pretend he sucks at skating so we can chirp him. Yeah. Yeah, Thomas.
So positivity.
Make it enemies. Yeah. One podcast at a time.
Yeah, Thomas.
Who are you?
You and your subpar skating skills. Okay. Next.
All right, moving on.
Next up.
I think we've touched every base we could touch in this ref conversation right now. Let's move on. Nick, you started telling us about a tournament team that was making quite a few demands, and I want to hear more about that.
Okay, so let's obviously my bag is running tournaments and events. And so usually it's always pretty good. Like I love talking to the players and to the GMs and hearing how excited they are, and I'm just as excited as they are. But occasionally you get a team that just makes you go, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" Just like that. Because when this team said this, my words were, "Who the fuck do they think they are?" So anyway, we had a team, like we obviously we had one or two spots left over for this Columbus BLPA Bash tournament. And the way it works is teams sign up and then we make schedules. And then once we make the schedules, we divvy out schedules to the teams. So I make a schedule for each division. We have 6 divisions. And so they're already set. And then what I do is, just to be fair, I make it all random and I send it out to the teams, and the teams get to rank their schedules on what they want based on how they paid. So whoever paid first gets first pick of the schedule. So it's a benefit. Obviously, I like to have their money, and they like to know, have the better schedules, right? And so this one team sends me a message and dead ass says, "We want to be in your tournament, but we have to have game times between 7 and 8:30 on Friday. We have to have a game at between 10 and noon on Saturday, and then we have to have a game that ends before 7 o'clock or 7:30 on Saturday." But I know that's a lot to ask, but the first game isn't on Saturday isn't important. It just can't be earlier. It can be later. And I was like, who the fuck does this team think they are? Like, why? Like, in what world would you think that and I started talking, and they're like, "Well, I mean, you said you needed a team, so I figure if you need us." And I'm like, "Well, I don't need you that bad, bud. Like, there's other teams out there that I don't have to just say, hey, here's a group that came in 3 months after registration started and are throwing around their Dick Mans, right? So
well, okay, so at least he did. I'm assuming it's a he. At least he said, I know that's a lot to ask. Like, at least he wasn't like, hey man, figure it out, here you go. First of all.
he said
Secondly,
it's a lot to ask
after
he said it's a lot to ask after I said that seems like not reasonable, right? Do I know? No, because I don't get into that. Because for me, they were a local team, so maybe they had league games. I get it, cool, but like we have,
but they're local though, because
but we have teams that like they're coming from out. And as a matter of fact, we only have like 8 local teams. All the other teams are coming in from elsewhere, and so I can get the demands where they say, "Hey, we don't want a game before a certain time." I still can't promise them that because I'm trying to be fair to everybody. And they're like, well, you can have local teams play early, which cool. That's cool. But less than 30% of the teams are local teams. So I can't just give you a pass and not give, someone else a pass. And so I just was like, what team would think, okay, I'm going to go in and they're definitely going to do this because they need me that bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been in that mindset, so I can't even like really speak to that. I know we've had, especially for a tournament, I know we've had league teams who are, full of firefighters or other first responders, and they like ask to not be scheduled on certain days or to only be scheduled on certain days just so that like majority of the team can actually show up. But other than that, I can't really, other than like, hey, if you're desperate and you have these time slots available for us.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
And it wasn't even like, it was weird because they obviously didn't want to start early on Saturday and they didn't want to play too late on Saturday. So it's like, okay, like cool. Right. And so, yeah, I don't know. Look, Trish, your team was great, right? I was talking to her today and I sent schedules out to her and your team was the first team that paid in full. So they basically got whatever schedule they wanted. Right. But she'd asked like, hey, like, we're coming in from different places. Like what is the deal? And I'm like, well, here's the deal. Like all of our games, like the first game starts at 3:45, last game starts at 9 something. I can't really tell you, when you're going to be playing. She's like, no, it's not a big deal. Don't care. I'm just curious. Right. I just want to know what to tell my guys or girls. And I said, well, I would tell them just to be ready for the 3:45 p.m. game. And she's like, yeah, I'll tell them to be there. I think you guys ended up getting like a 7 or 8:30 game on that first night anyway. So
yeah, we were all right. She told us up front, like it could start as early as, and I've had that happen at other tournaments too. Like no matter how far you're traveling, like if you're committing to a Friday game, you might have to take the day off work. Like that's just the way it's going to work.
Can someone tell me in chat who's talking about I've never got a schedule? The fuck? I'm guessing that's Big Dad. And yeah, how do we not have a schedule? Who's the second one?
Dan. It's too far away from me, but it's a long last
name. Dan Langendorfer. Well, here's the deal.
Yeah. I just can't see it that far away.
Here's the deal, Baja Blast. You don't get your schedules confirmed until you pay your fucking bill. What do you think about that, boys?
Yeah, money talks, boys.
Money talks. Hey, you literally just registered 3 days ago.
Put your money where your mouth is, motherfuckers.
Registered 3 days ago, and now he's already demanding schedules. So, but anyway, I just thought that was kind of weird and it's kind of funny. Like, obviously, there's going to be a lot of tournament and event chatter on this podcast because that's going to make up a large part of my day-to-day endeavors starting in March. So, but anyway, so hey, if you're going to a tournament, don't be prima donnas. All right, you're not going to get a better schedule just because you demand it. All right, so basically, I told that team to pound rocks, pound sand, filled the spot, and I guarantee you, before the tournament starts, they're going to ask if there's any more open spots for the tournament. Guaranteed, 100%. So.
And you're gonna say no, you butt babies.
Butt baby. All right. So as we're going on, we talked about opinions already and how we have them. I posted something today. Was it today or yesterday that I posted that, Trish?
I don't know. Yesterday?
I posted.
Yesterday.
I posted a meme that was made, and I agree wholeheartedly with this. And I made the meme because I kept seeing people post like championship photos and post things like 3-time champions or back to back champions, and I thought, what the fuck? And I would go look at some of these guys and I'd see that they're playing in like the bottom divisions, and I'm like, why wouldn't these guys move up? Like, why would they just run roughshed over the league. And people do that. I mean, I guess that I didn't have to ask that. I know some people are butt babies and they do that kind of shit. And so I was like, I should make this. And so I made one. And what did it say? Let me see if I can find it. It basically said, if you win your team, here it is. If you win a championship in your beer league division, the next season, your team should play in a higher division. I wholeheartedly think the promotion relegation thing should happen, but I know there's other opinions. Let's hear your opinion, Trish.
I fully disagree. And I'm going to speak from experience because, again, not to brag, I am a 2-time men's league champion. And we're
of course
right now.
Of course, the champion would agree with this.
But here's the thing. We're not out here killing teams all the time. Like, this is just like pure dumb luck. Not dumb luck. We're, good at hockey, I guess. Sometimes we're really not. So, like, it's kind of luck that we won twice in a row. It's not a guarantee that we're even going to like make it past the first round of the playoffs. Like, we're just not that team. So we're not out here sandbagging people. It just has worked out 2 years in a row that we've won. If we got moved up, we'd get slaughtered. Like, there's just that we would not even be contending in the next division up, but we are contending in our division and we're like here and there. We're 50%. So I don't think we'd be successful moving up. And I see tournament teams that, I mean, but it's the same there too. Like, it can be pure luck.
Trish,
it can
if you
be
guys did move up, right, you get slaughtered, okay? But like, then the next team is going to win probably a couple times in a row below you, or 1 year on, 1 year off, and it's like, I'm sorry, like, people are gonna be fucking pissed about everything. It's just like, fucking grow a pair and be better.
That's what we're saying. Like, you won, so be better. Go try to be better up top. And if it doesn't work out. I'm saying if
you're fucking salty that some team won 2 times in a row, then you fucking be better.
But here's the deal. If it's a promotion relegation, then it works out perfectly. Because if you go up and you get slaughtered and you're in last place, well, then guess what? You're right back down there. So don't tell me like to be better.
Then you have a full season of eating shit.
Yeah, but don't tell me to be better because there's teams that are still in that division that are you in the lowest division?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's teams at the bottom that maybe they just started, maybe they can't get better. And so I don't know. And I'm not calling you out, Trish. I'm just saying in general, because there's outliers to this situation. Like everyone was saying, well, what if you're in the highest division? Well, listen up, dummy. If you're in the highest division, obviously there's no fucking place for you to go. But if there is a higher division and you're winning, go try. And if it doesn't work out, then you come back, right? Because like a lot of people say, well, especially tournaments, right? Like, oh, well, we're playing down because we're just trying to be there and have a good time. Well, those people that are playing in the right division are there to have a good time too, and you're ruining it because you're playing down to have a good time.
The thing you're saying there is right division. And I think like looking at some teams, they're in the right division and they're winning because they're in the right division and they're whatever it's working out for them.
There's some outliers for sure. I'm not saying this is a hard fast. This is how it should be every time you win a division, you go up.
Really? Because it kind of fucking sounds like you are.
If you're going to put in, but
I see that.
But what you're arguing,
if you're a team that's winning every single game, you're winning by a huge margin, and you're winning the championship. That's a different story than teams that are like
100%
are playing fair. Or it's like a fair parity throughout the division, and they just happen to win the championship. But I think that's way different than a team that's slaughtering everybody
for
else.
Sure. But what I'm saying is, if you have a promotion relegation system, it fixes itself eventually. Like, because what you're arguing for, Trish, or arguing the point is like, oh, well, we're in the right spot, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I get that. But that's why the promotion relegation system works. Because if you win your division, and let's just say it's not even one time, if you go back to back, you should be moved up and to be able to try your hand at the next division. And if you're in last place, okay, then you just move right back down. Like it works out because there's checks and balances, right? It's not just this one team. And what happens if you win the league 3, 4, 5 times in a row? Well, variety is the spice of life, my friends. And so why not try something new? And why would you want to play the same people over and over and over and over again? That's why I like drafts, because every tournament I'm playing with and against somebody different. And so why I like going to team tournaments is because I'm not having to play the league teams that I always had to play back here in Calgary. And there's one team here in Calgary that when they would go up, they they'd get beat by 1 or 2 goals a game, but they'd come down to our division and win by 5, 6, or 7 goals. And it sucked. We hated playing them. No one wanted to go play them. Had the beer league Yager out there. The guy was like 107 years old, long ass fucking mullet, but he'd go fucking coast to coast and have like 5 goals a game. And I'm like, how the fuck? Do you not age? What's going on here? You're 100. But they got moved up. And then being someone that worked for the league, like I know why they were back in our division, because they basically told us, if you put us up there, we'll go to another league. We're playing down where, and it's like, well, that fucking sucks, right? So I just think, I think people should try it instead of winning 3, 4, 5 back-to-back championships and bragging about it, which it is a feat. I've never won a beer league season championship. It is a feat. Go up and try something new. And if it doesn't work out, go back down. That's basically that's where I'm at.
I disagree because I know, like, again, speaking from just like my team, if we were to move up, we'd lose most of our team. Like, they wouldn't want to be up in that division competing because it wouldn't be a fun season for them.
But you don't know until you try. I mean, there's guys in drafts. I'm looking at them chatting about it now in the thing. My buddy, I'm going to call him out. Pecky baby, Jeff Peck. He says, I'm not a good hockey player. I'm not a good hockey player. You can't put me in the ring around. You can't put me in the ring around. And all of a sudden he comes out to a tournament and has 20 points. And he's going to say, oh, you can't put me in a ringer. It's like, well, but like if you're outscoring everyone, then I mean, that's what do you want me to do here? And then, you don't put him in a ring around and he's like, oh, well, it's just the people I'm playing with. And then you put him on a team and he's our best player and he has, 9 points and is second in the tournament. Well, that's still a ringer to me, right? Like maybe you're not the best ringer, but you're better than the other options, right? So, some people should just challenge themselves. Me, I'm horrible. I don't need to challenge myself. I know where I stand, but I'm not beating anyone either. So it's just, I think for me, it's not even just my team that I see, like, because I run tournaments and I run leagues. You have to look at all of them, right? And if there's one team that's continually winning, one team that's continually winning, one team that's you're running the experience for how many ever other people. So how do you make changes, right? So you can piss off.
Yeah, I think that's different though. I think you're saying one thing and also another. I think,
I'm saying everything.
I don't know if I'm going crazy, Kara, if you're hearing it too, but like, it's like a team that's dominating, absolutely move up. A team that's in the correct division that's still like fighting to compete, I think doesn't need to necessarily move up. They can if they like, hey, we've won this now. We want to challenge ourselves and get slaughtered for a season. Absolutely fair game if you want to do that.
You're guessing,
but I think if you're in
that.
the correct division, you're still competing properly there, then stay there and keep getting better in that division.
I agree, but you're also guessing. Like you can't just say, "Oh, I'm just going to get slaughtered." Like you don't know. You don't know until you go play.
No.
With that stuff.
I do because I also play in that higher division, and I know how our team in the lower division would do in that higher division.
Now we're getting.
Can't wait till you see me play at the tournament and then go, oh, this is why.
Now we're getting
she
somewhere.
Does suck and does not make a difference.
So now we're talking about a higher division ringers coming down to them bottom divisions winning championships. I like it.
I have literally never been called a ringer, and no one would ever label me as such.
I have to have this argument in group chats every day, like especially like Big Dad's, and then Big Dad's a good hockey player. Really, he's got a lot of skill. Probably why he didn't make it. He's a little small. He's a little on the smaller side. No offense, Big Dad.
Oh, you don't say.
Kara's here now.
So I think that he's a good hockey player, and so for me it's like, okay, he's like, well, our team is made up of these 3 guys that I know are pretty good hockey players, and then 3 or 4 guys that are lower level players, and they're saying we shouldn't be in the high division, we should be lower because these guys are on our team. And I'm saying, well, I don't think you should get to play down because you bring lower level players out. Those lower level players should play to you because Big Dad, Jeff Peck, Shawzy can just run the other guys ragged. That's not really fair, is it? And so that's kind of that we have to keep going back and forth. And they're like, well, we just want to play and have fun. And I'm like, so do all the other teams. So why should you have a chance to run that, right? And so it's hard. Like because I want my friends to have fun too, and I understand where they're coming from. I know the other players that they're talking about that aren't the same level as them. But for me, it's like, well, why would you build that team knowing that you're going to have to play down to them and you're way better than everyone else, allegedly, because I haven't seen all the other teams, right? So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on that. My opinions. They're not necessarily right.
Additional thoughts?
I don't know. I think it depends. Like, I think if it's a hard fought battle and you're winning year over year, but it's like a 1-2 goal difference and in the finals and whatever, like, no, fucking stay. You obviously deserve to be there and you deserve to win. Like, good for you. But like, I think, you know, a 5+ like goal differential that, and year over year, or like every game and year over year, you're doing that. Like, yeah, that fucking sucks. Like, move up if you can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know the history is written by the winners, right? And so when you say, oh, it's a close game, that's what the winner's saying. That's not what the losers are saying. Does that make sense? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
it just sounds like everything that you're saying is what the losers say.
well, hey, okay. Well, I'm coming from the loser background, right? I mean, I know I've got the brake speed off of me before. I understand that. But what I'm coming from is that I hear everyone that argues for not relegation. No. It's the people that are winning the championships. And isn't that a little bit odd?
Right.
think
And
it's
that's why I
case by
say it
case.
depends.
Yeah. And did I not say that?
Yeah.
I don't know. You said a lot of things.
You said a lot of things,
That's why I
but
have
you
a
seem
microphone.
really salty as soon as I jump on the defense of the winners.
But you didn't defend the winner. You basically said if it's a blowout, then sure. You said the same thing I was saying. And then I was just bringing
Right.
up that, hey, here's the deal. Like, here's what we're talking about. We're saying this, and usually the winners are the ones that say it's a close game. So you have to keep that in mind. Like, the winners say it's close, the losers are on the other side. And here's the deal. I've done it enough that I know that it's probably somewhere in the middle there. Like, maybe, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and there's ways to figure that out and you can look at the score sheet.
Yeah.
You can watch
Yeah,
the live bar and you can figure
I'm
it
just
out.
saying it depends. I don't understand what the point of having a big debate about it is, because it just all depends.
Well, that's what having a
If we're
podcast
talking
is
about
about.
a certain situation,
Yeah.
I'll let you know what I think about it. But like in general,
Case by
just-
case.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm just looking at thoughts. That's
Right.
just my opinion. I
That's
still
what I'm saying.
think a relegation
No, I agree.
promotion is the best way to go. I think it's fair to everyone. I think it gives everyone a chance to have a little, variety in the leagues and not just do the same thing over and over and over and over again. So
I would move leagues.
yeah, I mean, that's what some people do. Usually the people that only care about winning do that. So I get it.
I care about being able to compete. Like,
Mhm.
having a fun
Mhm.
game is like being in the game and not being like down 10-0 in the first period. So
Yep. I
I'm all for a
100% agree with that.
challenge, but I'm not for just getting the wheels beat off of me every single game. I don't need to pay to get beat up.
So what about on the flip side? So what if you like have never won and you're always like, I don't know, how many games are usually in a regular season beer league? Would you
It
say?
super depends.
Okay, let's say like our winner is 30 games and our summer is 15 games.
I was going to say, let's say 20, 30 games.
Okay, say 20.
So if you're like, I don't know, 5-25, like you've won 5 games and you're like 25 losses
Mm-hmm.
the season, repeatedly, is anybody telling you to go the fuck down to the next, like to get the fuck out of our league and to go down to the one below? Are the winners complaining? Oh, this team sucks so bad. I hate beating them.
Of course not. Winners like to
Get
win.
the fuck out of here.
Of course
Right.
not.
So it's just the losers
buy
that are
game.
like, oh, I hate losing. Get the fuck out of here. Move up. You're too good for us.
Yeah,
So
but
I
then,
don't know.
But then losers
If there was a team that like clearly didn't belong because like skill wise because they were a lower skill level, I'd be arguing to have them move down if there was an option to move them
Yeah,
down.
and like I'm gonna get hella chirped up in the comments for this
Can't
one.
wait.
But like that happened to one of the teams that I was on when I played tier 2 Saha. The team was so fucking bad. And we just lost all the time. And it was so frustrating. And so then they went, I mean, I didn't go with them, but they went down a tier. And like I think they were a lot happier and did a lot better there. But it was like years of losing. And I
Yeah.
don't really know, like I said before, I'm not like the coordinator of the teams. I don't know how that worked or if we were forced to, or if the coordinators just decided to, but either way.
Yeah, and it's even saying like the league manager should do that or get new players to compete in the chats, right?
Totally.
And I 100% agree with you that it's on the league managers. But how does a league manager take a stand when the team just says, "I'll go to different leagues"? If you implement this into our league, and I don't like it, I'll just move leagues. Well, that sucks. So now you see why league managers have a hard time making those
Cheers,
type
guys,
of decisions.
everybody fucking drinking.
Yeah.
That's why
For
that
my,
rankings I've
for my
tried
lie.
more.
Yeah.
I think that's what the beard emoji means. Is that they think I'm lying?
Probably.
oh,
Yeah, probably.
what they think you're lying that you're on a bad
smart
team.
move on a league manager would be to like take a vote with all the team captains or whoever's running your teams.
Okay, so say you're
if you're implementing something, as I think that's a big change. If you're implementing big changes, you should really be assessing the thoughts on that before you do
100%.
it.
You don't just do it on your own.
As a league runner, want to put up with that.
So okay, well then let's play devil's advocate and say I run your league, Trish, and I come to your division and I say, here's what we're gonna do. Let's vote on it. And how many teams are in your division?
Like 8.
Okay. Say it's 5-3, 4, and we implement it. Then is your team still leaving?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they might not move up. Like they might move to other teams or something if we're being forced up. Like, because that's probably not going to work for, I don't know, I want to say like 80% of our team. It might find other teams to play with or form a new team.
Just same team, just different
with,
name,
like different players to mix it up.
Well, I think because a lot of the problems, especially in the lower leagues, is I've seen it over and over and over again. Is so you have one team that's really good, or 2 teams that are really good, whatever, and then so these beginner guys come in and they just start they pick up a ringer because team 1 has a ringer. Well, then team 1's like, okay, they've got a ringer now. I'm gonna get a ringer, and it just becomes an arms race, and then before you know it, it's not a beginners division. So the people that you're telling, oh, just get better, can't get better because they're depending on these better players to always have the puck, always take the puck, go up the ice.
Yeah, and I think that lays on the league runner to identify where like you have ringers that are coming in where they shouldn't be and say like, hey, this person clearly shouldn't be here and they can't play anymore, But I mean, how invested are the people running the league? Sometimes they're super hands off. They don't notice that shit. Like the league quality everywhere for adults is going to be so all over the map. I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, I just want to say,
welcome to my life.
I want to say hi to Danky Bud. Danky Bud's talking about, he's been chatting with us. He's over on Twitch. He says it works.
Nice.
Our league manager has over 80 teams to look over in 8 different divisions. So players get moved around. They even split up if they cause too much trouble. Hey, I like that. Like the
players get moved around.
Yeah. Well, when I was at the old job, I mean, at one point at the height of the empire, we had 300 teams in 4 cities, right? And so even in Calgary, they had 186 teams in 13 divisions, and half of those divisions had a north and south. So you were able to make those moves, right? You were able to, okay, there was a whole, they said algorithm, but basically if your goal diff was over X amount, they moved you up. And if it was, you were getting beat by X amount, yeah, it was a whole thing. So, it definitely is dependent. I don't know. I maybe it's because I've never won a championship. So I just kind of think it should go both ways, right? Like if you keep winning, you should go up. And if you keep losing, you should go down. And if that was the case and they did that in all hockey leagues, the Edmonton Oilers would right now be in the ECHL, which is probably where they belong.
Sums that up. Okay.
I said all of that. I said all of that. That whole spiel, that whole debate was just so I could make that Oilers joke. That's the whole reason.
I can tell. That was weird.
Very long con.
Very well thought out. Good for you.
You got to play the long game, guys.
All right. Now that we're done arguing, let's move on to a new segment that we're really excited about.
All right. You're not going to hear us. Just sit back and listen. Oh, hey, open your earbuds, close your eyes, and sit back and have a nice little episode of Dex Tales.
Life is one big hockey game here in Draftburg. Cold beer, slap shots, body pain. It's a Dex Blur. Now that we're sober, let's talk it over. Dex Tales, woo. Every tourney out there making Dex Tales, woo. Tales of pucking and beer guzzling. Dex Tales, woo.
So, there's a lot of great stories and a lot of great memories that have come out of the drafts. And the one that always sticks out in my mind the most is getting drafted to a team that had a Russian theme. So from the moment I got picked, I spoke with Russian accents. So I keep it very, very strict for the entire time up until right before championship game on Sunday. Then I broke character and I went back to talking like normal. And there was a guy on our team. This guy's mind was blown. He was completely deceived. He felt harmed physically and mentally over how he had been tricked. And I mean, it was just amazing. He freaked out, and it's probably one of the greatest things because, you know, people still talk about that. Oh, and the poof poof dance. That was the same time. Well, that's more of a visual story.
Tales of parking and beer guzzling Dex Tales. Woo!
All right, that's our new segment, Dex Tells from the draft experiences. That was, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that was one of our beer league gods, one of our highest donating Patreon member. He loves what we do. He loves doing it. I've been trying to get him to tell these stories for years. And this guy, probably the biggest character you'll ever meet. He has 3 wives. They all live together. They come to tournaments. It's just the dynamic is electric when they're all 3 together. They're great folks. And Chris, he doesn't give 2 shits about anything. He'll do anything. He'll try anything. He's always doing the crazy stuff. The poof poof dance, hilarious. Basically he ties a loofah around his donger and dances around the old dressing room. And that
answers my question.
Yeah. So and
Yeah,
hey,
that's funny.
He doesn't care who's in the dressing room, right? He'll literally come and like hold this loofah. He's walking around and he'll go, "Oops, drop my loofah." And you look because the loofah drops and it's tied around his dong. And it's a good time. Probably one of the funniest guys that I know, just to like sit and talk and listen to and hear the things that come out of his mouth. And so what a fitting way to start Dex Tales with some of the tales from him. I think what we want to do, as I was talking to him about it, is we want to get a little bit. We want to tell the real tales, like the ones that you probably can't hear on free podcasting. So I think some of these stories we might have to make just available to our Patreon folk. Just so I really want people to understand what goes on in these drafts if they haven't been to them. And the answer to what goes on if you haven't been to them is they're fucking insane. Like, you can do whatever you want, and you don't have to answer for it. At least not to me. Maybe to God, I don't know. But you just come out, you do whatever you want, you have fun, and then you leave and you come back, you start planning your next one. And I think they're insane and fun, and hopefully we'll get a lot more stories. Hopefully I'll start recording them on location, like whenever we get Trish all boozed up and she can tell her Dex Tales. Maybe we'll get her to sing.
Hell yeah, I'm here for that.
Maybe we'll get her to sing the old the theme song for us, since she helped.
Absolutely.
She helped write it for sure.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have a full-on karaoke show of me singing the Dex Tales song. Don't even worry about it.
So in the comments they said he calls himself Captain America, but Chris said he'll be glad to send you a picture of him on the hotel bed with nothing but a cup on his dong. So apparently this guy's gotten some nice photos of Captain America.
That was Randy. So
so Randy's been seeing photos of old Noller, eh? Okay, I got it. Okay. So, anything else before we wrap up? I know Trish has a game to get to tonight. And so anything else before we get out of here? We got time for anything else?
We got time for Would You Rathers and Fight Lightning Cut.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
All right. We're going to do some quick Would You Rathers and then shoot a coach-themed Fight Lightning Cut.
Oh, coaches.
So,
oh, fuck. I hope I know them.
You will. Don't worry. It's they're fake coaches. So, you'll get it. Don't worry. Would you rather get into a bar fight with an NHL team or an NFL team? We're going to pare the NFL team down to the same amount of players on an NHL team for like numbers parity.
So let's just say it's a 10-on-10 Tilly is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that would depend on what teams, right? I mean, like if I get to fight the Oilers, easy peasy. I'd much rather fight all those pussies.
Who am I fighting with, by the way? Who's on my team?
Your team.
Ooh, good question.
Oh, like my beer league team.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So I don't know. Like I mean, there's some pretty bad motherfuckers in the NFL. But there's some bad motherfuckers in the NHL too. That's a tough one.
I would go NFL.
You'd rather fight an NFL team? Why?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious.
Well, there's a lot of reasons going through the old head right now, but
Let them out.
because I feel like on average they'd be taller, and you could just like take them out down low. You know what I mean? And also,
yeah, but
just take them out down low.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down over there. Okay, so you're actually you actually want to fight.
I would just say that NFL players are more my type than NHL players.
So
and I just would want to
hear first, folks.
Be in a room with like 10 of their bodies on me, and that was all I would like to say today. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Cheers.
Okay, basically,
you lose that fight any day.
Yeah, basically, you want to fight them just so you can make up with them, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
correct.
The old Evander Kane argument.
Exactly.
I think I'm gonna go with an NHL team, not just solely to be different than Kara. I mean, I'm not trying to be laying underneath any pile of dudes, unless I need to. But I think that just NFL guys are just like they're just bigger, like they're just bigger dudes in the NFL. And not saying that I would win in a fight. I'm going to get my ass kicked either way here. Yeah, I'm not talking in that sense, Kara. But I like I said, I already said this.
Either. What are you?
I already said I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm pretty sure everyone got it. All right.
I actually okay. Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Okay, that's my opinion. I'd rather fight NHL guys.
Yeah, I think I'm on Team Nick on this one. I think I'd rather fight NHL guys too. I'm more of like an NHL boy aesthetic as well. So if I'm gonna end up getting beat up, maybe that's who I want to beat me up.
I would say though, in like a real way, I would answer this is like NHL. Everybody knows how to fight. Everybody's like trained in how to like fight.
That's
you don't
true.
fight in football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's
I think I'm just more intimidated by the size.
Yeah, that's where I'm intimidated.
Lady.
And I mean, yeah, and there's just a lot like more. It just seems like meaner. Like the NFL players are just way more mean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they kind of
okay, like the mean mugging. I got you.
Yeah, they're just
more intimidating.
Yeah, for sure, right? And so I think that's kind of what. Like I said, I'm gonna get my ass kicked either way here. Unless, like I said, if I get to pick who I fight, like if I have to fight like Alexander Simmon, like I don't know if you remember Alexander Simmon and his little slap fight in the NHL. Like I could probably take someone like him if it was a team like him and McDavid and like Ryan Nugent Hopkins. I would beat that ass, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have any problem with those guys. But if you have to go with like guys that can actually fight, yeah, I'm in trouble. Especially if we have to do it. Well, we're in a bar, so we're not going to be on stage.
The best part about watching the comments on the live stream right next to watching you guys live is that I just got to see Nick do this twice.
I did too. I have it up too. I was like, "Oh, this."
Have you ever seen that fight? Like he literally fought someone like that in the NHL. Like he dropped his.
I haven't, but I'm going to look it up.
Look, Alexander Simmon slap fight. Yeah.
What's the next?
Okay, we're going to move on. We're on a time crunch here. I got to go play some hockey. All right. This one's for Nick, and maybe he'll tell his story at some point. Maybe next week we'll get lucky enough. Would you rather accidentally send a dirty text to your boss or a very sexy voicemail to your mom?
I mean, I am my boss, so I guess I'd rather send it to myself. Well, I guess I could rather send it to Randy.
Boss.
So like if Randy, like my partner, like I send him like a little sexy. No,
it can't be Randy because I feel
Let's talk like when you did have a boss before, like in previous jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you're in a corporate job setting.
But what constitutes?
Okay, wait, so it's sexy voicemail to your mom or
dirty text to your boss?
Like what? Okay.
Dirty text to your boss.
Randy says please no, so please don't send him dirty text.
I'm gonna send him dirty sexy texts. Actually,
Ooh,
both of them.
Randy.
Both of them to Randy. I think I would probably go with texting my boss because it's just a text, right? And you just text it over and you can apologize. You can apologize. Oh, sorry, that wasn't meant.
Yeah, like the inflection of your voice and stuff, and like whatever you're saying. Ugh.
Because then my mom
my
would have
mom?
that, and she'd be like, "Oh, this I'm gonna keep this, so I'll always have something to remember my kid." And like, if I didn't call her, she'd probably plays my old voicemails, and what if that's in there? So every time I don't call her for a couple weeks, she's listening to like all my voicemails, and she has to hear my sexy voicemail call. That would be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I would do the same thing. I would say to my boss versus my mom.
Man, we should have had shots prepared because I also agree. I think I would rather send a dirty text to my boss and then profusely apologize for it. Randy chimed in the chat and said that we're from the South, so I'm going to go with mom, which
Randy, yeah, because
nice.
Randy talks dirty to his mom all the time anyway. So
Just said, kicks door open, drops towel. Pecky's here.
Yeah, I guess does that stem from when I sent the guy the wrong video? Is that what that Would You Rather came from?
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that next week because that's funny.
I won't tell the story, but I was doing a work call and I was trying to send this guy a video that I made, but then I sent him a video of me singing anyway, and I mean it worked out in the end.
And you've yet to send us the video. We requested.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard some of it earlier.
Did you?
This evening?
Yeah, I was gonna play it. So you didn't have video, but you could have the audio, whatever. But I didn't send it to you guys because you guys were like, oh yeah, we're gonna use it, and I'm like, well, I'll send it to you on Snapchat, so you can't save it. And then they're like, oh, I guess you never heard about screen record, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm out, because
Who am I going to send it to?
Who knows?
Send it to my mom.
Who
I'm going to
knows?
send it to Kara's mom.
Well, she's already heard it. 100%.
Oh. That's who it was recorded for.
That's who I was sending. It was one of these dirty, sexy texts. Me singing to her.
Oh, God. Next question,
oh my God.
please.
Okay, we're moving on to Fight Liney Cut. Okay. All right. So, Fight Liney Cut. Coach Bombay, Coach Riley, or Coach Stanson?
Hey,
these are all Mighty Ducks coaches.
You know what's weird about like the coach question is like I just reconnected with my old high school coach literally like 2 days ago. Like he sent me like an email out of the blue. Like he heard about a BLPA, right? And so now we've been talking. So it's kind of weird that this is a coach question because all these high school memories flooding back from playing sports because I reconnected with my coach. But coaches are awesome. The good ones are anyway. The bad ones you kind of have nightmares of them for years. Ooh. But okay, so we got Coach Bombay, Coach Stanson,
and Coach Riley.
Okay, you'll have to tell everyone where they're from. Obviously, Coach Bombay is the Ducks. They're all Mighty Ducks, but
yeah, Stanson was Iceland, and
nicknamed the Dentist.
Yeah, the Dentist, and Riley was from the first movie, so he was
Bombay's coach, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Okay, Fight Liney Cut. I just watching Mighty Ducks. I know that Bombay. I mean, he had the skills to pay the bills. He had the moves because not only was he good at hockey, but he willed old Chuck's mom in the movie. So I want to play. I want to play with Bombay because I think a little bit of that would rub off on me. I would maybe pick up a couple apples, maybe a couple goals just because of his skill, and then maybe he helps with the puck bunnies at the bar. So I'm gonna line with Bombay, and maybe I get Chuck's mom sloppy seconds. I don't know, but Bombay for sure. I think the Dentist would kick my ass. I want to fight him, but I think he would kick my ass. And Riley was an old man, but he would be the team that Trish would like to play for because it's not worth winning if you can't win big. He's never.
I'm not going to play for the Hawks. For the record,
he's never getting promoted. So that's what Trish would like because he's not getting promoted or relegated. I'm gonna fight Coach Riley, and then I'm going to cut the Dentist, not because I hate him. I think he's a badass, but I don't want to fight him. That's basically it.
I'm about to get cut from this fucking podcast because I didn't watch the movie.
Oh my God. Well, okay. Before,
wow.
Wait. Before, okay,
I'll just let myself out.
I'll
just let myself out.
Okay.
It's so nice to know you, Kara.
The Mighty Ducks is American. It was. I think it was created by Disney and hockey to get more Americans into the sport. And so it was like fun, uplifting. But here's a question for you here. As a Canadian and a hockey player, have you watched Slapshot?
I have watched Slapshot. I was like, I could like recite fucking like Rock'em Sock'em 1, 2, 3,
Yep.
4.
What about
like,
Youngblood? Youngblood?
Bingo, bango, bongo. Like all the fucking things that Don Cherry said. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm so sorry. I did not watch the movies. Also, I grew up in a very, very strict household where like one of my old roommates has like the list of all the movies that I need to watch because I wasn't allowed to watch anything. Like if I wasn't 13, I couldn't watch a PG-13 movie. If I wasn't 14, I couldn't watch 14A. Like I literally wasn't allowed to watch shit. And I'm going to blame this mishap on that.
But have you watched
They're
Youngblood?
probably all G, but whatever.
Have you watched Youngblood?
Yeah, it's fine though.
Youngblood?
Have I watched what?
Youngblood? All right.
Yeah, I have not seen Youngblood.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, at least you got Slapshot.
That's more excusable. That's more excusable.
Oh, Youngblood.
I think you should invest some time in the Mighty Ducks movies. I think they're very fun to watch.
And Youngblood.
Maybe I should. Maybe we should have a viewing party.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be totally
hey, let's
Hey,
have,
did you guys know that this is totally like a tangent, but did you guys know that there's YouTube channels dedicated to like you can see somebody's reaction to a movie for the first time?
well,
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
Isn't that the craziest thing you've ever heard?
I think
Yeah.
we should have a watch party where we actually rent out a movie theater and then have everyone there and then watch like the Mighty Ducks and Youngblood.
Did your kid
and
just go to bed?
Slapshot.
Because you just got way quieter.
Yeah, I just heard my little kid go to bed.
Knew it.
Yeah, he did. So I gotta be a little quiet. Good thing we're almost
I'm
done.
so sorry to disappoint. Trish, before you have to jet here, what's yours?
I haven't even thought about this, but I'd fight Bombay, I think. I think he'd be an easy fight. Definitely not gonna fight Stanson, so
Nope.
I'm
Turning off the
going
comments because you guys are mean. Anyway, keep going.
Stop getting on Kara's case. She'll watch them, don't worry.
Hey Dan, do you want to be on the episode next week? Kara can't come back on until she watches Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I gotta go forever. Bye.
Paused. You're officially paused. Okay, and then I'm gonna liney Coach Riley. I feel like he's got that goodness in him somewhere. He's not gonna be a dick if you're like on the same team as him. And I know you're gonna say it's because I want to be on the Hawks, but that's not true. I am fine with winning if it's not winning big, so it's fine. And then I'm gonna cut Stanson because I think he'd just be a through and through dick. So everybody is still.
I don't know.
I'm so
think,
sorry.
I
You now have a reputation.
I don't know how you would like.
You know what? That's
if
okay.
If you
I already
wanna,
had one. It's just perpetuating. It's cool.
hey,
Add
if
it to the
If
bill.
you don't want to win,
Yeah,
big,
we'll just like fucking
If you don't want to win big, how can you play with Coach Riley? Because he wants to win big. So if you're not good enough, he's gonna.
Like I
treat
said,
you
I think
an
there's
asshole.
still like a little bit of that old school goodness in him that
I don't
he's
know.
not going to be like that all the time. Like that's a front. And if he's on your line, maybe you'll be able to get through to him.
Interesting.
Those are
All
my
right, well,
thoughts.
hey.
And he probably has some nice, like, good playing wisdom to pass on. So I'll take that.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been real, been full of opinions, full of them, chock full of opinions. Might not be opinions you agree with, but
We're really sorry about Kara.
I'm not Surrey. We just cut her.
I'll take one for the team here.
We just
I'm
cut her.
so-
Bring in Danny
so
Vibes.
sorry.
I bet Danny Vibes has seen Mighty Ducks. That's for sure. Hey, let's get Kara's sister on here. Kara,
Okay.
let's
Well,
get your
you know
sisters.
what? You literally said that you are the most intimidated of me, so that you would want to not fight me. So
You're right.
just remember
That was
that.
just
That's
between-
all
Yeah.
I got for you, Nick.
You are in the same province, so watch
Well,
out.
I mean,
We're in the same city.
Yeah, but
That's
listen,
true. Even closer.
I just said I would out of you two. I didn't say like in general I'm intimidated by her. I said out of you two I'm
Okay.
intimidated.
Well,
I mean,
that's what
it's
I
just-
heard. So
Well, you can hear what you want. I'll edit it to say whatever the hell I want. So
fair enough. Touche.
Yep.
all right,
Got
guys.
that power.
We'll see you guys next week. It's been real. Thanks for joining us. Hey, even if you watch it live, download it. We need get those numbers up. All right, guys. We'll